Mark Berman has more reports on the Julius Randle CAA departure, and also Derrick Rose threw some shade at Tom Thibodeau recently, and we're going to break it all down. We're not going to waste any time. As you know, welcome back to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris, and we are going to jump right into this and talk about, first things first, that Julius Randle could be distanced from the New York Knicks, according to Mark Berman. When he was on Troy's podcast, he essentially talked about how Julius Randle leaving CAA could cause distance between him and the New York Knicks, and that this could lead to trades down the line. This is a huge report, as Julius Randle has been a team favorite by Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau, and company. And so to see him potentially even be not untouchable is sort of surprising. This is a guy who we really it's hard to imagine that he would ever get traded because of his connections, because he was a CAA guy for so long, from the start of his career up until around a little under a month ago when he left CAA for WME Endeavor. And this is now apparently a situation where we could see Randle get moved. If you ask Berman, essentially what Berman had to say was Julius Randle leaving CAA was significant and could signal a trade down the road for the all-star power forward. And what Berman really had to say, if it was a significant thing, he said, I really do. Also, I think it was underplayed in the media. It almost distanced himself from the Knicks in some ways. He continues, maybe RJ Barrett would like to play on a team that didn't have Julius Randle. I am calling cap on all of that, Mark Berman, because that is a lie. What actually happened is this. It appears Julius Randle is reuniting with former CAA agent Andrew Thomas, who joined WME Endeavor in February 2022. First of all, WME is also IMG Endeavor. It's the same thing. That company not only represents some of the biggest stars in the world outside of basketball, it also represents some of the NBA's biggest stars. Most notably, Joel Embiid, a former CAA client. We still see that he's a target for the New York Knicks. So why the hell are we going to assume that now Julius Randle might get traded? I'm calling absolute cap, because what I can, or what I want to say, is that I'm calling something else, but I don't want to get demonetized. So we're not going to do that. What really is happening here is that Mark Berman is making nothing out of something minor. Because what Julius is doing is he's not leaving CAA because of the people who are part of CAA. He is leaving CAA to stay with Andrew Thomas, the guy who has been his agent since 2014, since Randle got drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers back then. This has nothing to do with CAA, outside of the fact that Andrew Thomas happened to work for them, so Julius had a coexisting or an already existing relationship with Leon Rose before Rose signed Randle to the Knicks. Now that I think about it, Rose did not sign Randle to the New York Knicks, but that is not exactly where we're going here. So it doesn't really matter. We all know that Leon Rose is connected, and Tom Thibodeau and all that CAA connection. We've talked about it a million times here. But I don't think this is anything. And also, just take one more look at this. He continues, maybe RJ would like to play on a team that didn't have Julius Randle. Julius and RJ talked about now being part of WME Endeavor together, and that they were excited to spend more time together. RJ also just said at Media Day that he thinks it's really cool that he's always played with Julius Randle his entire career. They've constantly talked about how it's a big brother, little brother situation. I don't think there's any beef there at all. I think there's the opposite. I think the two are very close, and now they're probably excited that they're represented by the same agency. Who knows if that's even a big deal or not? I don't think it is. It's not like Julius Randle joined some small-time agency or went to Rich Paul's agency or anything like that. He joined WME Endeavor, the company that for a while owned the UFC. You know, Conor McGregor, John Jones, all of them. Yeah, they owned that. They bought it from the Fertittas. So I don't think this has anything to do with, oh, Julius Randle might get traded. No, he's not. He's not getting traded, actually. I don't see a world where the Knicks trade Julius Randle. They still love him. The only reason he left CAA is to stay with the same agent he's had for almost 10 years now. I would rather stay with the same agent if I were an NBA player. I think that probably makes everyone's life a lot easier, especially Julius Randle's. So no, this is nothing to really concern about. I am going to completely disagree with Mark Berman here. I do not think Julius Randle is going to get traded. I think this is an absolute nothing of a statement from Berman. Great job by Troy in the interview. But this has nothing to do with anything other than Mark Berman is making a claim where all I want to do is learn how to edit better so I can put in that Mitchell Robinson quote of him saying, Berman, relax. Relax, Berman, with Rebecca Harlow laughing in the background. Because we know that this happens with Berman. He makes up reports sometimes that are not fully true, and this is what is happening to cause noise. Randle's not getting traded. Let's knock that off right now. If he does, then it would probably be for a star who's a lot better. And because we all know Julius Randle's not the best player in the NBA, but he is a great player. And speaking of him being a great player, let's look at his stats. Because I don't think the Knicks are trading this. 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Shoots 34% from 3, which is sort of fine considering he's an inside scorer. 46% from the field. Pretty typical isolation scorer percentages. And then on top of that, 25 and 10. He's been a monster. All-NBA twice with the Knicks. All-Star twice with the Knicks. His playoffs was abysmal, but you know what? We all know that he had an ankle surgery or some sort of procedure done because he was clearly super hindered. The man's ankle gave out on him multiple times throughout the playoffs. He was playing on a severe injury because he cares about the team. And I don't think the Knicks are going to turn around and trade Julius Randle at all. I completely disagree. And I even more disagree with the fact that R.J. Barrett doesn't want to play with Julius Randle. I think that's just complete you-know-what. Okay. Part 2 of this video, because I just ranted on that for way longer than I thought I was going to. Derrick Rose may have thrown shade at Tom Thibodeau, though I actually don't really think it's shade, as it's more he's just sort of not thrilled with how the Knicks used to run things, and he's really excited in his new home in Memphis. But essentially, Rose did not have the best things to say when talking about training camp in regards to the Knicks, at least last season. Who knows what's going on this season for the Knicks in training camp. But Derrick Rose seems to think that the Grizzlies may be running things better. Here's what Rose had to say, and it's a mouthful, so get ready for me to stutter. These last 2 years I had Tibbs. Rose said on Thursday from training camp with the Memphis Grizzlies. So this one compared to Tibbs is, don't get me wrong, we worked, but Tibbs is more of like, how can I say it? It's ran different. I'm just going to say that. It's ran different. Here, it's more smoother. It's more fluid. And guys are really getting their work in. And that's not saying guys in New York didn't get their work in. Rose didn't explain what smoother meant, but he added that he appreciates the continuity of the Grizzlies roster since they don't have to do much to tweak things. That seems like it's Derrick Rose being upset that he didn't play a whole lot with the Knicks last season. I would honestly guess it's that. Rose fell out of the rotation a little less than halfway through the season, and the Knicks started to play a lot better, which really sucked to see because of how awesome Derrick Rose is and how much of a help he was to the Knicks just as a voice in the locker room. And obviously that playoff game, Game 2 against the Atlanta Hawks in 2021. The man, in his own right, is a legend of this team, and I don't think New York Knicks fans will ever dislike Derrick Rose. But I do think this is a case of when Evan Fournier sort of talked about, it got to that point when we were benched the whole season, and Derrick and I looked at each other like, what are we doing here? I think that is exactly what Derrick Rose is saying. He knows he's going to be playing on the Grizzlies. He was upset that he wasn't playing on the Knicks, and he felt like he had something to give, and the only time he would ever go in was garbage time, when fans would go nuts to see D. Rose play. He didn't even have his knees wrapped up. He wasn't expecting to play with the Knicks. He knew what it was. Tibbs probably told him what it was. And no wonder Rose left, because now he's going to go and he's going to play for the Grizzlies. That was one of the big reasons why the Grizzlies signed him, is they wanted him to play basketball. They didn't want him in that just vet, mentor, voice in the locker room, Udonis Haslem 7 years earlier role. That's what it felt like to me more than anything else, and I do not think that Derrick Rose has some amount of beef with the Knicks, outside of the fact that Tibbs, his guy for forever, did not play him in the important part of the season, and it obviously must have hurt, but it is what it is. I'm happy that Derrick Rose is on a team that he's going to play on. I can't wait to watch Derrick Rose play, and I do not think this is anything major or any real shade, and it's more of just Rose kind of airing out his grievances that he did not get to play a lot last season when he wanted to and still believes he has something to give. And probably because Tibbs is an old-fashioned coach, they're not going to do training camp the way most teams do it. We all know that Tibbs, though he's lenient, you could see that. There's a lot more threes being shot, and you could shoot a pretty deep three without Tibbs flipping out. So clearly he's bended a little bit, but we all know he is still an old-fashioned coach who plays his top players a ton of minutes and does not really utilize the bench that much. And Taylor Jenkins is a very modern NBA coach. So that is probably really what's going on, is Rose is trying to say that the Grizzlies are more modern and that he's happy that he's actually going to play again. And that is really all that I think there is to that. And just once again, Julius Randle's not getting traded. That's ridiculous. But that's all we have for today, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in to another video of Knicks Digest. I do not have a Knicks shirt on. I have my college shirt on right now. So I cannot say remember go Knicks. But make sure to like and subscribe to this video, guys, or subscribe to the channel, because the NBA season's right around the corner, and I, for one, cannot wait to see the New York Knicks get back in action, and Knicks Digest will certainly ramp the action up way more. Also, make sure to check out the new member of the squad. He just posted his first video today, and it is awesome. So make sure to tune into that, guys, and I will catch you next time on Knicks Digest. Have a great day.